Hello, friends. We are less than 12 hours away from the start of the 2025 Masters Tournament. You already know some of the bets I have locked in, but I went through tonight. I placed my final bets. I have a total of 24 bets locked in for the Masters. Anything from outright wins, first round leaders, 3-ball bets, tournament matchup bets, a hole-in-one bet. I am locked and loaded for tomorrow's action. It feels like Christmas Eve night. Few things are better than Masters Thursday. NFL Week 1 Sunday, March Madness round of 64, Masters Thursday. Actually better than Masters Sunday because you have the hope. Anything is possible on Masters Thursday. Masters Sunday, there's like 4 guys that can win. And Masters Sunday hasn't been good since 2019. We are also due for a good Sunday. It's fair that we had 1, 2, 3, 5 boring Masters Sundays after the Tiger won in 2019. We're due. 5 was enough. 5 was the price to pay for a Tiger Woods Masters in 2019. Let's have a good one this year. But still, I still think Masters Thursday is better. There's hope for all your bets. There's hope for all the golfers you cheer for. There's always that random guy who gets out to an early lead. It was like Harry Higgs 2 years ago. We were like, oh, Harry Higgs 4 under. Is Harry Higgs going to win the Masters? There's an amateur who starts out hot. There's an old guy who borderline makes the cut. Masters Thursday is peak Masters. Today we got the par 3 championship. That was fun to watch. But we are less than 12 hours away from the real thing. I'm back in Canada. I got a nice Canadian lager, Moosehead lager here ready to go. 24 bets. No, I lied. 23. Sorry, I lied. 23. I misread my Excel sheet. 23 bets. But I will say, anyone in the chat, I see you, Buffalo Dan. I see you, Rex. Anyone in the chat convinces me of another bet? Listen, I'll place a few more bets. You got to make a convincing argument, though. I'm already overexposed with 23. You toss me a few more. You convince me. I can place a few more. Let's go. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with outrights. This one, you guys already know if you follow me on Twitter whatsoever. If you listen to my podcast earlier in the week, you already know this one. So we're just going to get this one out of the way. Shane Lowry. I bet him originally at 40-1. I then saw that he was available at DraftKings at 45-1. So I doubled down on Shane Lowry. You don't need to listen to me. I'm not going to spend too much time going through all these, or else this is going to be an hour-long thing. And you've already heard my take about Shane Lowry. I think he's being extremely undervalued. He falls into that category of, and it's that famous stat that you've heard a million times this week, 10 of the past 12 winners at the Masters have gained at least 1.7 strokes per round, strokes tee to green, over the past 3 months. Shane Lowry is one of the 7 golfers that falls into that category this week. He's a good chipper. He's won a major in the past. He's had good Masters experience. He checks every single box that you want in a Masters winner. And 45-1 is not available anymore out there. DraftKings still has a 40-1 though, so 40-1 still available out there if you want to get in on the Shane Lowry train. I think now is a great time to do it. I'd much rather bet him at 40-1 than any of the top guys like a Scheffler or a McIlroy or even a Morikawa, but I am betting on Morikawa, and I will explain how I'm going to bet on him here shortly. I placed one other. I'm only on 2 golfers outright to win the Masters so far. I'm sure I'll play some live bets as it goes on, but right now I only have 2 outright picks before I get to my second one. Matt in the chat, Angel Cabrera to make the cut plus 280, just won Champions Tour event with good history at Augusta. I looked at that, Matt. I know some other people that are on that bet. It is crazy. He was in jail for 2 years. He came out of jail at what? How old is Angel Cabrera? I'm going to guess 64. I'm going to guess. He is 55. Oops. Okay, he's not that old. It's not as old as I thought he was. Still, jail 2 years, came out and won a Champions Tour event last week. I get it. But also, I would still be cautious. The Champions Tour event is not the same as Augusta National with some of the very best golfers in the world. You know what could be an interesting bet for him to finish as a low senior, but the issue is Phil, who's got still like a competent golfer, is also in that group. I don't hate him, Matt. Not a bet that I'm on, and I don't think I'm going to place that bet. I think I need a little bit better odds on that to bet on Angel to make the cut. But I'm not gonna argue against it. All right, my second outright bet that I settled on, I think I alluded to it in the podcast earlier this week. I ended up going JT for my second outright pick. I know 25 to 1s are out there. That I bet him at 22 to 1, so I didn't get a good price on him. And I think I said it on the podcast earlier this week. I would rather bet JT at 22 to 1 than Morikawa at, what is he now? 18 to 1, 16 to 1, 14 to 1. Morikawa's numbers this year are significantly better for sure. I just trust JT to close out a major a little bit more. Even though JT has had some issues lately closing out tournaments, I do trust him more to close out at the Masters on a Sunday, more so than Morikawa, and you're getting some longer odds on him. But solid chipper, great ball strikers, great tee to green. His putting has been decent lately. Great Masters history outside of the past 2 years. It's been bad, but before that, he's had some solid finishes at the Masters. So that is where I landed for my second outright pick. Justin Thomas, 22 to 1. So I got Lowry and JT. I will be placing some live bets, definitely Sunday morning, possibly Saturday morning as well. I don't typically place live bets after Thursday. Usually wait at least until after Friday. So probably one Saturday morning / Friday night, one on Sunday as well. Yukon in the chat, not betting Brian Harman when you said to is the biggest regret in my life, and not saying something. Let's go, Shane. Oh yeah. I guess referring to the Open Championship 2 years ago. I got him at, I think it was 120 to 1. A lot of people are mad at Brian Harman because of how slow he plays, the waggle. Last week it's tough to watch Brian Harman on a broadcast. But you will never hear me say a bad word about Brian Harman. He is the biggest bet I ever hit was on Brian Harman at the Open 2 years ago. And not only did he hit it for me, he was a completely, you'll never have a more sweat-free 121 winner than Brian Harman at the Open 2 years ago. So he will always have a soft spot in my heart. I will say, last year I hit some outrights. I'll be honest, I've not hit an outright in golf yet this year. Close a few times, even had Patrick Rogers was leading. Heading into the final round of, what tournament was that? Genesis? Patrick Rogers leading into the final round. I had him at 200 to 1. Couldn't pull through. So I've had some close calls, especially some big payouts, but still searching for that first outright of 2025. I'm hoping Shane Lowry is going to be that guy. Yeah, Buffalo Dan right there with me. My best win. I'll always love you, Brian Harman. Listen, you can take all the time you want. You can waggle as many times as you want before hitting a shot, Brian Harman. You will not get any hate from me. All right, I sprinkled on this next bet. I sprinkled of a sprinkle. I put $5 on this because it's never going to hit. It's a stupid bet. I did a Shane Lowry, Colin Morikawa exacta at 200 to 1. So it doesn't matter who's first or who's second, but if Lowry and Morikawa finish first, second at the Masters, I'll win that at 200 to 1. It's like $5 to win 1,000. Don't do that. That's stupid. But hey, if Morikawa was like leading on Sunday and then like he chokes late and Lowry steals a win from him, then it would have been like the greatest call I've ever made in Masters history, in golf history, in betting history. I put $5 200 to 1 just for funsies. So that is a bet. It's not. I put $5 on it. All right, let's get into some two-place bets here. Bobby Mack. This is how I'm betting on him. Robert McIntyre, plus 330, ties included, to finish in the top 10. Talked about him on Monday about the reasons why I like him. He's just outside that key number of 1.7 strokes tee to green over the past 3 months. He's a lefty, which helps him at Augusta. The 2 times he's teed up at Augusta in the past have been great finishes. I think it's T12 and T22, T21. Something along those lines. And he's actually been playing some of the best golf of his career over the past few weeks as well, both when he's playing in North America and in Europe as well. So he's great form, solid history the 2 times he has teed up in the past. He's a lefty. He's a very popular pick. Actually, I think I saw earlier today that he's like one of the most tipped golfers to win this week. I'm not getting aggressive enough to say that he's going to win. I don't know if he has it in him quite yet to win a Masters, a major. But I will take Bobby Mack top 10 at plus 330. Top 20, Lefty Phil, who I thought I was going to be kind of the outlier saying that I think Lefty has a chance this week, but he's kind of turned into a pretty popular pick. I see a lot of people putting out Lefty Phil as a long shot pick, as a dark horse pick. I get it. Extremely good form. Even in the past when he hasn't been good in form, he's competed at the Masters. T2 2 years ago. 3 Masters wins already. It is a course that experience, and older guys can compete at it because experience is so important. I could see Phil having a big week. Now, I'm not going to be as bold as other people saying that I'm going to bet on him to win, but I did bet him to finish in the top 20, ties included. I think that's, listen, he could win. Anything's possible. He won the PGA Championship 3 years ago. But I think to bet on him to win is getting a little crazy. I think realistically, a nice Phil Mickelson top 20, 3-1, I think that's the way you play Phil. If you want to lay a little juice and bet on him at like minus 150, minus 145 to make the cut, I think you do that. I don't think you bet Phil Mickelson to win. Put him in a DFS lineup if you want, sure. Pick him in your office pool, sure. To win is a little too rich for my blood for Phil Mickelson. I'm going to bet him top 20, ties included, at 3-1. Listen, a lot of the golfers I talk about are guys that you're going to hear other people talk about, or you have heard other people talk about all week for good reason. There is one golfer, though, that I have seen. I'm the only guy who likes him whatsoever. I bet this guy to make the cut, and I bet this guy to finish in the top 40. So I'm not getting aggressive with him. I've also tossed him in some office pools and some DFS lineups. But Danny Willett, former Masters champion, obviously he won the year that Jordan Spieth blew it on the back nine. Top 40 at plus 225, and to make the cut at plus 110. Danny Willett, not a name that you're hearing out there a lot. But if you look at Danny Willett's numbers this year, his irons have been bad, but everywhere else has been good. His short game's been good. He's one of actually the best chippers on the PGA Tour. He's like top 5 in strokes gained around the green, top 5 in scrambling, both things which are absolutely massive at Augusta. If you can scramble well at Augusta, you'll make the cut. You're not going to win. You're probably not going to finish top 20 if your irons aren't good. But if you can scramble and save pars, that's going to be enough at Augusta to make the cut. So that's what I'm leaning on for Danny Willett. You want an extremely cheap option in DFS. You want a top 40 bet at north of 2-1 odds. Danny Willett, former champion. Top 40 plus 225. Any Danny Willett supporters out there? Anyone on me with Danny Willett? Am I by myself with Danny Willett? Where are we at here? So that was my best bet to make the cut. My best bet to miss the cut, and this pains me as a fellow Canadian, a Canadian hero. He won the Canadian Open 2 years ago. But Nick Taylor, unfortunately, I'm going to bet on him to miss the cut at plus 110. He's been horrific lately. Actually, let me bring up Nick Taylor's data golf numbers here. He's been bad at the Masters, and he's been bad lately. I'm a little surprised we can get plus money on this. Yeah, 2 straight missed cut. Missed the cut at the Players, missed the cut at the Texas Children's Houston Open, missed the cut last year at the Masters. Not good. His approach numbers have been horrific. His putting has been absolutely abysmal. Now, the issue with Nick Taylor, though, is it's kind of been a story of his career. He misses the cut or he wins the entire event. So if you're going to bet Nick Taylor, either bet on him to win the whole thing or bet on him to miss the cut. I am going to bet on him to miss the cut at plus 110. All right. Speaking of make the cut, I tweeted this out earlier. Listen, I'm not a big parlay guy. I hate them. You see them all the time now in sports betting Twitter, and they get a lot of love. You're buying lottery tickets, but the only time when I like to place a lottery ticket parlay is Masters make the cut. Over 50% of the field makes the cut. You can already cross off most of the seniors. You can cut off at least 3 or 4 of the amateurs. That means the majority of actual golfers are going to make the cut. It's one of my funnest bets every single year. I toss together 10 names in my make the cut parlay this year. It is at plus 6,523. It was placed at DraftKings. You can place the exact same parlay at FanDuel for much worse odds, so I'd recommend doing it at DraftKings. You do got to look around, though. Most books actually don't let you parlay make the cut, which stinks. I know Bet365, I believe, does. DraftKings does. FanDuel does. DraftKings and FanDuel only lets you put up to 10, though. So these are my 10 picks to make the cut parlay. And of course, because I tweeted it as a parlay, of course, it got over 300 likes. So if I had no soul, I would just go back to sending out parlays every single day. But I can't do it. But in this case, I will. Here is my make the cut parlay. Bobby Mack, Sepp Straka, Jason Day, Aaron Rye, Daniel Berger, Lucas Glover, who I think actually could be interesting this week. I have no other action on Lucas Glover, but just a name to keep in mind. Harris English, Denny McCarthy, Brian Harman, Danny Willett. Once again, I need Danny Willett to make the cut. My week is going to be a lot worse off if Danny Willett does not make the cut. He's the only guy on this entire list who's plus money, who's even close to a pick 'em to make the cut this week. If everyone else makes the cut on this list and Danny Willett doesn't, I'm going to be very upset. But I think for these, you got to toss in 1+ money. Yeah, let's go, Rob. Rob, found you somehow on my Twitter. I guess I'll place a few bets. Don't have Willett prop available on my bookie. Let me know another prop you like. I got props coming, my friend. I got props coming. But that is my make the cut parlay. Those 10 golfers, I'll say it once again: Bobby Mack, Sepp Straka, Jason Day, Aaron Rye, Daniel Berger, Lucas Glover, Harris English, Denny McCarthy, Brian Harman, Danny Willett. Just over 65 to 1 odds. All right, you want to bet a hole-in-one prop? Here's the way to do it. Don't bet a hole-in-one for the entire event. There's one of two ways. Either bet on a hole-in-one to happen specifically at the 16th hole, or bet on a hole-in-one to happen in round 4, which is what I did. I did yes for hole-in-one in round 4, plus 125. I got that at Sports Interaction, which is an Ontario book, a Canadian book. I saw it at like minus 115, I think, at DraftKings. Shop around for this. The reason being, I think there's been 34 holes in one at the Masters throughout the year. 24 of them have come on hole 16. And the majority of those, I don't have the exact number, but the majority of the time that the hole-in-one happens on the 16th hole is on Sunday. If you're familiar with the Masters, if you watched the Masters in the past, you know why. On Masters Sunday, and every year except for the COVID year, and I had a big bet on this happening in COVID, and they just didn't put the pin there. On Masters Sunday, they put the pin on hole 16, where if you hit anywhere close to the right side of the green, the ball will funnel down right down towards the hole. Almost every single hole-in-one at the Masters has taken place at 16 on Sunday, specifically because of that pin placement. I think you're wasting money if you bet on hole-in-one for the entire tournament. I think if you're wasting money if you bet on a hole-in-one on any other hole. I know hole number 4, for example, only one hole-in-one in the history of the Masters has taken place at hole number 4. The way to bet hole-in-one is in round 4 specifically, or you can do on 16th hole specifically. I did round 4 hole-in-one plus 125. Shop around. You're going to get some varying odds. Rob, I'm tempted to parlay Hideki and Oberg to miss the cut plus 50. Rob, I don't hate that. Both guys, great golfers, bad form. And it's tough to do well at Augusta when you're in bad form. Hideki, I believe, has missed 2 straight cuts. Am I wrong? For 15 to 1? Now you're talking my language, Rob. I might jump in on that with you. Yeah, Hideki missed the cut both at the Players and Valero. And Ludwig, I believe, missed the cut 2 straight times as well, both the Players and Valero. Rob, I'll join that with you. Hideki and Ludwig both to miss the cut, 15 to 1. What a ride. What a ride that is. All right, let's keep things moving here. Where am I at? Hole-in-one, round 4, yes. All right, some of my favorite prop bets now. Top debutant. So top golfer who is playing the Masters for the first time. I went with the guy second on the odds list. I went with my double glove bandit, Aaron Rye. Even though he hasn't played the Masters before, I think he's kind of a perfect fit for the Masters. He's accurate. He's like a top 5 in driving accuracy. He hits a ton of greens. He can scramble well. And he's put up some solid performances at big events. He's put up some solid performances at majors. He finished in the top 20 at the U.S. Open, for example, last year. I'm just going to bring up the list of guys in this group. Where am I at? Tournament props. tournament groups. Here we go. Top debutant. Davis Thompson is a favorite. Taylor Pendrith is, and Aaron Rye right behind him at 7-1. Matt McNeely would be interesting, plus 750. I'm going to stick with Aaron Rye. Kevin Yu, 12-1, I've heard given out a little bit. I don't hate that. But on this list, the one that sticks out to me for sure is Aaron Rye at 7-1. Buffalo says, waiting for FanDuel and DraftKings to miss the cut odds back up. Have they taken off miss the cut odds? I don't see them on DraftKings here. Why'd they take them off? Oh, no, they're here. I'm looking at them, Buffalo Dan. I'm looking at DraftKings miss the cut. Oh, Buffalo. Buffalo Dan, if you're in Buffalo, you can't bet miss the cut. Maybe that's why you don't see them. New York does not allow you to bet miss the cut. One of the many things you can't bet on in New York, just like you can't bet on like college sports player props. You can bet on make the cut in New York. You cannot bet on miss the cut. So Buffalo Dan, you got to sign up for an offshore or get someone in a different state to place some bets for you. You can't do those. Rob asks, you leaning towards AM or PM wave for bets, or does it not matter? I don't think it generally matters. It seems like there's not a huge difference. I do think both days you're going to get some slight gusts, I think, later on in the day. So I don't think in terms of the waves it makes much difference. I do think if you're going to bet first round leader, I think there might be a very, very, very slight edge to the morning wave, which is a strategy I'm going to use, and I'll get to that here shortly. But a few more prop bets. First, top amateur at the Masters is my specialty. I feel like I nail this every single year. My pick for top amateur this year, Justin Hastings, plays for San Diego State. He is on the verge of breaking all the school records that Xander Schauffele set. He is the Latin America amateur champion, and he's gotten off to some really strong results so far this season. So I don't know why. I don't really care about the amateurs at the U.S. Open or the PGA or the Open Championship. The Masters, the amateurs, I love them. I watch them all the time. Who is Justin Hastings paired up with on Thursday and Friday? I feel like that kind of plays a little bit of a role. God, I hope it's not Brian Harman. Justin Hastings is with Nick Taylor and Dustin Johnson. That's a great pairing to be paired up. Dustin Johnson, the most chillest guy in the world, and Nick Taylor is a friendly Canadian. That's perfect for Justin Hastings. Love it. Top amateur, or I guess it should be low amateur, Justin Hastings. Rob, I have a random Straka Masters win 100-1 from when I placed it back in January. He seems to be super chalky, though. 100-1's a great price. You're holding on to a great ticket. Nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, it's you got a great price on it. Top live player. I'm going to go with Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed, no matter what form he's in every single year, Patrick Reed shows up when he gets to the Masters. So last 5 Masters, he's gone T10, T8, T35, T4, T12. So 12th or better in 4 of the last 5 Masters. He's also in decent form. Solo second at an Asian Tour event late last month. T7 at Live Miami last week. Obviously, you have some stiff competition in the Live golfer fields. You have Jon Rahm, who's the favorite. That's going to be his biggest competition. I'm not too concerned about Bryson DeChambeau or Brooks Koepka. Kind of off them this week. Joaquin Niemann, obviously going to be tough. Hatton, Garcia. I'm not saying he should be favored or that he's got a great chance of winning, but I think 12-1 holds some value there on Patrick Reed to be the top live player. There we go. Rob likes it too. Let's go. Now I got 3 tournament matchup bets. So these are 1v1 bets that last throughout the tournament. I'm going to start with the top dogs. This is the only way I'm betting on both these guys. It's going to be matchup bets and round 3 balls. I'm going to take McIlroy plus 140 against Scottie Scheffler. McIlroy statistically has been the better golfer than Scottie Scheffler over the past 3 months. If you look at true strokes gained over the past 3 months, Rory McIlroy leads the world in true strokes gained. Scottie Scheffler is obviously second. And I also think Scottie Scheffler could get out. defending champions have struggled at the Masters lately. Some are saying it's because of the obligations you have as a defending champ week of. You got to host the Champions Dinner. You got to, some other obligations. So even when he won in 2022, he followed up with 2023 with a T10 and he wasn't really in contention. So I'm going to bet McIlroy. I like that price of plus 140 in a tournament matchup against Scheffler. I like Rahm minus 140 against DeChambeau. A lot of people like DeChambeau this week, but people forget. Previous to his T6 last year, DeChambeau did not finish in the top 20 ever at the Masters. Starting in 2016, he went T21, T38, T29, T34, T46, miscut, and then last year T6. And the T6 last year had a lot to do with him playing on a soft course on Thursday, being the first round leader, and then he kind of held on the rest of the weekend. I'm out on Bryson DeChambeau this week. I'm going to fade him by taking Rahm at minus 140 in a head-to-head matchup. I'm also going to fade Victor Hovland. I'll take Min Woo Lee minus 110 against Victor Hovland in a head-to-head matchup. Victor Hovland is one of the worst chippers on the PGA Tour. I can't imagine, until he fixes his chipping, I can't envision him competing or being in contention at the Masters. Rob, if you want to get crazy, that Hideki Matsuyama Ludwig missed the cut parlay, toss in Hovland too. What does that make it? What does a Hovland Matsuyama Ludwig miscut parlay pay? I'm going to draw that up on DraftKings right now. Cut. Where are we at? Make miscut. Miss the cut. Hideki Matsuyama. Ludwig Oberg. Where's Vic? Victor Hovland. All three to miss the cut. 45-1. Just so crazy. It's so crazy. It just might work. All right, let's talk first round leaders. So my strategy for first round leader this year. It does seem like there are going to be some light gusts in the afternoon. That's enough to make me target the morning crew. I'm going to bet guys who I think can score, who I think are good fits for this course, who check every single box except for strokes gained dog. Guys who I don't trust to win the event, don't trust to have their best stuff on a Masters Sunday, but guys who I could trust to score and to post a low score on Thursday. Collin Morikawa is my main one. I talked up Collin Morikawa for weeks. I was going to bet him. He checks every single box. Fantastic player, strokes gained tee to green. The best in the world, strokes gained tee to green over the past 3 months. Great Masters history. Fantastic form. I don't think he can get it done on a Sunday at Augusta. So instead of betting on him to win at 14-1, I'll bet him first round leader at 28-1. That's how I'm going to play Collin Morikawa. And maybe I'll bet him to be the second round leader if he's in the mix. I will not be betting on him to win on Sunday. The Canadian Collin Morikawa, Corey Connors. He's my other first-round leader pick, 50-1. If you look at his round-by-round scoring, round 1 and round 2, fantastic. He's outside the top 100, both in round 3 scoring and round 4 scoring. Great ball striker, fantastic Masters history, great form. He's been chipping the ball really well lately, which is something he used to struggle with quite a bit. I'm not going to trust him on the weekend. I will trust him in the opening round, though. So first round leader picks, 28-1, Collin Morikawa, 50-1, Corey Connors. Add Max Homa to that parlay too, Rob. I like it. Missed the cut. All right, that leaves me with my round 1 3-ball bets here for tomorrow morning. We got Lowry 2-1 against Matsuyama and DeChambeau. Love that bet. Fading both Matsuyama and DeChambeau. DeChambeau, I think you need a certain level of artistry to win at Augusta, and I don't think DeChambeau has that in him. I think Matsuyama does, but as I've mentioned, Matsuyama out of form, bad form heading into this week. I love that Lowry bet at 2-1 in that round 1 3-ball. Russell Henley plus 170 against Brooks Koepka and Sungjae Im. Russell Henley, dark horse play. A lot of guys on Henley to win. I'm not going to bet on him to win, but I think a round 1 3-ball bet at plus 170 against Sungjae Im, who's been horrific this season. Some of the worst golf of his career. And then Brooks Koepka, who I never really know what version. If the bad Brooks Koepka shows up, this will be an easy winner. If the good one shows up, we're in for a challenge. I got a long shot bet here on a 3-ball bet. Adam Scott plus 260 against Xander Schauffele and Victor Hovland. I talked about Victor Hovland. I'm going to fade him because he can't chip, which is crucial at Augusta. And then Xander, I know Xander's had a good start in his last outing. Was that the Valspar? Great approach numbers. But my concern with Xander is his driving is still all over the place. Losing strokes off the tee left and right, not good. Losing strokes on the green, not good. You can't get by with just good irons at Augusta. I think Schauffele's going to struggle a little bit in this tournament. So this is a way to both fade Xander Schauffele and Viktor Hovland at plus 260 odds in round one. You know what? Like, I'm not going to say Scott should be plus 150, but a plus 260, I'll take that shot and try to fade both Schauffele and Hovland. Round one, 3-ball bet. Patty Reed plus 140 against Ben On and Gracerman. Ben On could be a little bit of an issue. He's could have a solid weekend. I'm not concerned about Gracerman, who's been in bad form. But this is just another way for me to bet on Patrick Reed, who continuously shows up year in and year out at Augusta. And then finally, Justin Thomas against Scotty Scheffler and Jose something Ballesta. He is an amateur. This is basically a bet Justin Thomas against Scotty Scheffler. And this is basically goes back to my theory that defending champs, especially on Thursday, struggle. He had to host the Champions Dinner on Tuesday night. He had a lot of obligations this week. I think JT is a good price at plus 180 to take down Scheffler. If the amateur wins in this group, I'll tip my cap to him, and I'll willingly lose my bet for that to happen. So there you go. Let me just show you the whole list here. There you go. I'll just full screen it. Can I go mini? There we go. Here is my full list of 23 bets I have for the Masters. Shane Lowry, Justin Thomas outright, a Lowry Morikawa exacta, top 10 Bobby Mack, top 20 Phil Mickelson, top 40 Danny Willett to make the cut, Nick Taylor to miss the cut, a make the cut parlay, which I'm not going to read off, you can read right there. Top debutant Aaron Rai, yes, hole in one round 4. Top amateur Justin Hastings, top live Patrick Reed, tournament matchup McIlroy to beat Scheffler, Rahm to beat DeChambeau, Minwoo Lee to beat Viktor Hovland. First round leader bets are Morikawa, Corey Connors, and my round 1 3-ball bets Lowry, Henley, Scott, Reed, Thomas. There you go. And I'm going to add in, Rob, those miss the cut parlays that you mentioned. I love those. I'll ride that train with you. All right. That's it. Those are my bets. Later tonight, I'll just tweet those out for anyone who missed the show. But yeah, thank you for watching, listening. If you are watching this on the Bacon Bets YouTube channel, subscribe to that. Follow me on Twitter at Ian Mac Bets. Best of luck with your Masters bets this week. Let's go, Shane. And you know what? And I said this on the podcast Monday. If Rory McIlroy wins, I'll lose all my bets. I'd win the McIlroy against Scheffler bet. But I'm willing to lose all my bets to see Rory McIlroy finally get a green jacket. And that's why I don't bet on him. Because I don't need it. That's the same reason why I didn't bet on Tiger in 2019. And I was fine with it. Because I'll be happy enough, even though I'm losing all the other bets. I'll be rooting for Rory McIlroy. Thank you for the sub, Rob. I appreciate it, my friend. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Best of luck. May Gambler, the gambling god, bless your bets this weekend. Enjoy the Masters. Let's hope for at least a fun Sunday.